You see, that's like crazy, though. I mean,
why is that crazy?
Because people are entirely too different for there to be one place where everyone's universally happy. Like, are you kidding me? One man's treasure is another man's, So it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I would personally think that if you were to go to this next life or whatever, afterlife,
right,
or whatever, then everybody, it's all personal. Like, I could be hanging out with a guy who's, who hates life. He's in hell, and I could be in heaven. It's just one place. It's just, I think it's completely ridiculous to say that, there's one place where everybody can just be happy.
Okay. All right. Well, I would plead with you to consider the fact that you have a mom and a dad, he's got a mom and a dad, and I got a mom and a dad. And my folks are not doing real well right now. Death is not too far away for either one of them. I don't like that. And I think if you're willing to think about your life deeply enough, you'll realize that the thought of your own parents dying isn't too thrilling to you. And I think he's the same way. Now, if there's life after death, where we can be reunited with loved ones who we really treasure and value, I think you'd be really interested. I think he'd be really interested. And I can promise you, I'm really interested.
It doesn't really answer my question, though.
Welcome to a new video. In this video, we bring you two very interesting and heated debates, to the point that people insult each other, but I won't tell you more. Enjoy the video.
Okay, I see you're pretty much promoting a Christian, approach to religion.
Good observation.
Okay. What makes you think as a mere human, we're all human here, we're all going to die someday.
Right.
None of us is endowed with any spiritual properties, connections to the supernatural that nobody else has. So what makes you think that you know the secrets of life and can tell all of us what we don't know? When you can't do any miracles here, all you're doing is talking. Any of us can go up here and talk about anything we want. It doesn't make it true. You're nothing more than a human, just like all of us.
Bravo. Well put.
So what makes you think you know the secrets of life and can tell everybody else about it?
Good. I do not know the secret to life. Do not put your faith in me. Do not give me your money. You'd be an idiot to follow me and put your faith in me. But Jesus Christ.
Okay, right there.
The evidence is Jesus Christ is reliable. You'd be very wise for yourself. Read the Gospels, examine the evidence that points to his credibility, and put your faith not in me, but in Christ.
Okay. A lot of us have Christian backgrounds. That's just their culture. A lot of people have Muslim, different religions. They're all brought up teaching that was the right way. That's what you think. That's what they think. What it turns out when you get down to the bottom of it, it's nothing more than I think, I believe. It doesn't make it true. You can believe whatever you want. Having faith in something does not prove it or validate it.
Exactly.
Okay, so you can believe in Jesus, Muhammad, whoever you want. It doesn't make it real beyond your own head. And,
Right.
So you can go rant and, go on and on about how real Jesus is, how real Muhammad is. It doesn't make it real. It's just a person talking. Jesus is real.
Fine. Fine, man, wait a second. That's just fine. But the historical evidence is that Muhammad really lived.
Right.
And the historical evidence is that Jesus really lived.
They may have lived, but it doesn't mean that they were some supernatural.
That's correct. You're right.
And, just because you say it doesn't make it true.
That's exactly right. That's why if you listen to what I said, I did not say, believe in Jesus because I do. No, no, no. I think you'd be a fool to believe in Jesus because I do. Instead, what I've asked you to do is, with an open mind, read the source document, the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and ask yourself, does the historical evidence point to Christ being reliable or not?
Okay. Well, Christ has only existed for 2,000 years. Christianity has only existed for 2,000 years, more or less. What do you think that millions of people all over the world, before Christianity was even thought of, followed their own religions devoutly, passionately, just like you did?
Yes, sir.
It didn't make it real.
Yes.
It didn't make it, they'd go to heaven or whatever. It didn't make any of it happen beyond their own culture, beyond their own society, beyond their own environment. They could be Incans or, whatever culture they were raised in.
Right.
This is pre-Christian.
Yeah.
Just because Jesus is the flavor of the month doesn't mean that it's true.
That's right.
5,000 years from now, Christianity may be forgotten, or it may be something else. Who knows? Just like religions have passed on, religions have, gone in and out of fads and whatever. It's the same thing. It's a human cultural property that's nothing more than a figment of our culture.
Good. So you've just communicated your faith. And your faith is religion is simply a cultural additive. Different cultures have different religions.
Right.
You can't prove that. It's a faith that you have.
That's true. You look all around the world, there are different religions. All of them have identical things. People like you that are promoting one over the other, claiming, one is superior to the other. None of them have anything other than their talk. They don't have any proof as far as numbers. They can say, you can't put God in a jar and measure it.
Right.
Okay, so as far
Can't
as
put love in a jar and measure it either.
but as far as being a physical thing,
Right.
God is not provable. It only exists in your head. It cannot be demonstrated scientifically.
That's absolutely correct. You cannot scientifically demonstrate God.
There you go. Therefore, it's nothing more than what's in your head.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Would you please prove to me that unless you and I can scientifically prove something, it's not true?
Well, as far as I'm thinking, you're talking about eternal, your eternal destination. Why should you leave something that important to something you can't prove, something you're going to take on faith? Why are you going to leave your soul's eternity to something I'm just going to believe and hope it's true?
Okay, now let me ask it again. Please scientifically prove to me that unless we can scientifically prove something is true, it's not true.
Well, as far as 2 + 2 = 4, that's accepted to everyone. We can put 4 things and count them. Anyone will tell you there's 4 things there. But as far as I believe in Jesus and blah, 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 no one, that's an individual thing. And it doesn't go beyond the individual. It's like I like chocolate or I like vanilla. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
There's no proof that vanilla is better than chocolate, vice versa. It's all an individual opinion, a concept of the individual.
At that moment, the young university student questions the idea that religion is something more than a cultural belief. He argues that there are many different religions in the world, and that there is no way to scientifically prove the existence of God. Cliffe responds that faith in God is not based on scientific evidence, but on personal experience and historical evidence. However, the young man insists that faith in God is only an individual belief, and that there is no way to prove its existence. Cliffe responds that faith in God is not based on scientific evidence, but on personal experience and historical evidence. He also asks the young man to provide a scientific explanation for what he is arguing, and the young man is unable to give a clear answer, so Cliffe continues asking,
Now, let me ask it again. Please scientifically prove to me that unless we can prove something scientifically, it's not true.
What you're saying is really not even a question. Because you're saying scientifically prove that unless something is scientifically provable, it's not true.
That's what you're saying. Now I'm asking you to prove it to me.
Well,
You're standing out here saying, come on, man, all these religions, it's all just a cultural thing, it's all just blah, blah, blah. And you are saying, from your educated, superior viewpoint, you look out on all the cultures of the world with all their religions, and you as an educated white Westerner have the intelligence to realize it's all just a cultural bias. That's all it is. And you have as your big, big faith position, unless you nitwits, ignoramuses around the world, can scientifically prove that it's true. Guess what, nitwits? It ain't true. Now I'm asking you, in all honesty, please prove to me that unless you or I can scientifically prove something, it ain't true.
Okay.
Or, sir, is that your cultural bias?
here's the trick. If you drop a ball, it will fall to the ground. That's the law of gravity. Anywhere in the world you drop a ball, it will go on the ground.
Good.
These are scientific principles. They're repeatable. They're provable.
Good.
There are numbers involved. They're measurable.
Great.
There are laws that govern what a ball will do, how fast it will fall, at what speed, when it will hit the ground.
Right.
And all that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's scientific. That's not something that says, I believe it, so it's true.
Good. Sir, right now, in your discussion with me, you are not using science. You are using logic. You cannot scientifically prove to me that your logic is true. Sir, when you go home and relate to your roommate, your relationship with your roommate has nothing to do with science. It has everything to do with trust, love, loyalty, and commitment, none of which you can scientifically show. Don't you see, sir, that science is a wonderful branch of knowledge? It's a beautiful branch of knowledge. But it is so narrow. It is so limited. What's a scientific date like?
Oh, anyway.
Do you enjoy a scientific date? No, I doubt it very seriously. Does your family life run on science? I doubt it. Scientifically, prove to me that Napoleon fought the Battle of Waterloo. Scientifically, prove to me that Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth. Come on, sir. You can't do it.
Well, here's another, just interesting perspective. If you look on a globe, Richmond is a small city among the whole world. What would make you think that of all the people in this world, somebody standing here in Richmond has got some knowledge that they need to spread to everyone else? I mean, what would make you think that all of a sudden, of all the
I'll tell you what.
billion people in
You bet. I'll tell you exactly what. I have a younger brother who's a transplant surgeon. He's involved in genetic research because he transplants kidneys and livers. And guess what, sir? Not all human bodies accept the new kidney or the new liver. And I can promise you, when my brother discovers the genetic way to manipulate a person's genes so they accept the new kidney and liver, he's going to be going all over the world, encouraging people who have to have a liver or kidney transplant to get the genetic manipulation going so their body will not reject the new organ. That is not arrogance on his part. It is motivated by love for people who have to have a new liver or a new kidney. And I can promise you, sir, I am convinced to the root of my being that Jesus Christ loves you, that he's got heaven out there for you. And I'd be a flaming hypocrite if I didn't tell you about it. That's all I'm saying.
The young man argues that religion is just a cultural belief, and that there is no way to scientifically prove the existence of God. Cliffe responds that faith in God is not based on scientific evidence, but on personal experience and historical evidence. This man also argues that science is a more objective and reliable form of knowledge than religion, and that there is no way to scientifically prove the existence of God. Cliffe responds that science has its limitations and cannot explain everything, especially when it comes to matters of faith and morality. Finally, Cliffe compares his mission of sharing the message of Jesus Christ to the work of a surgeon who seeks to help people through medicine. He argues that just as the surgeon seeks to help people, he seeks to share the message of Jesus Christ with people because he believes it is important for their spiritual well-being. He also clearly compares biblical evidence with recognized historical facts, earning applause from the audience who recognize his victory in the debate. However, the discussion that follows will not be so easy for Cliffe.
I just want to know, I'm Jewish, and, well, I was wondering, am I going to go to hell?
Oh, guess what? I worship a Jew.
Kidding.
No,
I'm
not
shocked.
kidding. I worship a Jew.
So what's that mean? Shouldn't you be like bowing down to me or something? I mean,
No, you're not the Jew that I worship, so I'm not gonna bow down. Yeah.
so, well, what do you think? I mean, what's that mean for me?
What does it mean for you? I'll tell you exactly what it means. At the root, you're not Jew, he's not black, and I'm not white. At the root, you're a human being, he's a human being, and I'm a human being.
All right.
You cut yourself, you bleed. He cuts himself, he bleeds. I cut myself, I bleed. All three of us are created in the image of God. Now, we all three have sinned. I'm not better than you. I'm not better than him. He's not better than me. He's not better than you. We all three have sinned. Now, Jesus says that God loves all three of us so much that he sent his son Christ to bleed and die on a cross to forgive us and to give us eternal life. Now, this black man and this white man and this Jew have a decision to make. How are we going to respond to Jesus? Obviously, if Jesus was lying, it doesn't matter how you respond to Jesus. But if Jesus was speaking the truth, his eternal destiny, your eternal destiny, and my eternal destiny hinge upon what we do with Jesus. That's why he's got to read the Gospels for himself. He can't take it from me. He doesn't know me from Adam. I've never met the man before. You can't take it from me. You got to go and read about this first century Jew, Jesus of Nazareth. And you got to figure out, was he blowing smoke? Was he lying? Or was he speaking the truth? He's got to decide that for himself, and I got to decide it for myself.
So what you're saying is that if I read into this, I'm going to be like saved?
Yeah, that's exactly what Jesus said. If you believe in him, he will save you from despair and give you hope. He will save you from guilt and forgive you. He will save you from death and give you eternal life.
So what you're telling me is that if I'm to read this, then I'm going to get sent to this like eternal place of just happiness. I mean, how does he know what's happy for me?
Oh, good question. That's a great question. The God who created you is so good and loves you so much. He's so wise and so intelligent that he's in a position to give you the best.
You see, that's like crazy though. I mean,
Why is that crazy?
Because people are entirely too different for there to be one place where everyone's universally happy. Like, are you kidding me? One man's treasure is another man's, So it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I would personally think that if you were to go to this next life or whatever, afterlife,
right,
or whatever, then everybody, it's all personal. Like, I could be hanging out with a guy who's, who hates life. He's in hell, and I could be in heaven. It's just one place. I think it's completely ridiculous to say that, there's one place where everybody can just be happy.
Okay. All right. Well, I would plead with you to consider the fact that you have a mom and a dad, he's got a mom and a dad, and I got a mom and a dad. And my folks are not doing real well right now. Death is not too far away for either one of them. I don't like that. And I think if you're willing to think about your life deeply enough, you'll realize that the thought of your own parents dying isn't too thrilling to you. And I think he's the same way. Now, if there's life after death, where we can be reunited with loved ones, who we really treasure and value. I think you'd be really interested. I think he'd be really interested. And I can promise you, I'm really interested.
It doesn't really answer my question, though. I mean,
This man questions the idea of a place of eternal happiness after death, arguing that people are very different and there is no place where everyone can be universally happy. Cliffe responds that God is loving and wise, and that he can give each person what is best for them. The man refutes and continues to question the idea of a place of eternal happiness, arguing that it is ridiculous to think that everyone can be happy in one place. Cliffe changes the subject and talks about the possibility of being reunited with loved ones after death, which could be attractive to the young man. However, the young man points out that this does not answer his original question. We will see how Cliffe responds to this man, who is making things difficult for him.
Obviously, sir, what I'm telling you is, what color the wallpaper is really doesn't matter. I want to see Mom and Dad, and I think you do also.
yeah, well, I mean, here's another one. I mean, like, you ever heard of, you know what deja vu is, right?
Yeah?
Okay, I mean, you ever think that, like, maybe the moment, you die, like, it's just like, you're instantly, like, reborn, as yourself. Like, it's just like a continuing, cycle, maybe,
Oh, no.
Why
No,
not?
I think, well, maybe
How
you're
else
right.
do you explain deja vu?
I think that in my next life, I'm going to be Michael Jordan.
No,
'cause I love to play
But you
basketball.
see, that's not possible because you're you. What if you have to come
I'll be
back
the white Michael Jordan.
Well, I mean, that's ridiculous. Yeah.
What do you mean ridiculous, man? Come on, man, that's my trip. That's what I believe. I think
I
I'm
gotta
going to
call you
come back as Michael Jordan.
Huh?
I think I'm going to come back as Michael
But no,
Jordan.
you mean
White Michael Jordan.
No, you come back as yourself.
Yeah, the white Michael.
Well, is your name Michael?
No, my name's not Michael.
Well, then you can't come back as white.
My
Michael.
point
You
is,
come back as
if
white,
you really want to just say it's all just a question of what we make up, well, I'll make it up. I like basketball. I'm coming back as white Michael Jordan. Obviously, there's no evidence to support that.
No. You see, no. What I'm saying, you're not hearing me right. I'm not saying like you die and then like as soon as you die, you come back as like a new person. I'm saying like, how old are you? Like what? Like 50?
Man, you're good.
All right.
Here, you
so,
nailed that, baby. 1 year off.
up or down?
Unfortunately, I'm older than 50 by 1 year.
Too bad.
It is too bad.
Well,
I'm envious of your youth.
see what I'm saying is that what if you were to die like now?
Yes.
Like right here.
Yeah.
And as soon as you died, you would just instantly go back as yourself, like the moment you were born, and it
Yeah.
was just a continuing cycle. Like so like instead, so like you would die right here, and
Yeah.
then, like next second it would be like 1955.
Yeah.
And
Well, if you're going to say that, why are you ticked with me for saying I'm coming back as a white Michael Jordan?
Well, because you can. It's just a continuing life. Like
Yeah, but you have no evidence to support that.
you have no evidence to support yours.
Exactly. There's not a shred of evidence I'm coming back as a white Michael Jordan. That's
There's not a
exactly
shred
what I was
of evidence
saying.
you're- there's not a
It's
shred of evidence
ridiculous,
you're
isn't
coming
it?
back at all.
Totally ridiculous. Oh, no. No. To believe in resurrection is not totally ridiculous.
Why?
Because historically, the dead Christ came back. He rose from the dead. That's the only reason, real reason, I believe in life after death. Because historically, the dead Christ came back. I ain't going to be the white Michael Jordan coming back. I know that. But I do know I'm going to have life after death because Christ promised that to all who trust in him, and then he backed up that promise with a resurrection from the dead.